taking care of a fighter for once. I mean, I just don't understand what the deal is. Bob Arum doesn't give you anything on NBC. He's not giving you anything on Spike TV. He's not giving you anything that, you know, is worth, you know, I mean, it's just a nuisance. It's very frustrating. And to me, I posed the question, Nick, do you think that is it me, or do you think is it some type of racism still in boxing, or like I don't get what the problem with Al Haymon is all the time, but he does try and get exposure for boxing. Bob Arum just collects checks, but how come Al Haymon's criticized so much? I mean, can you explain that to me?
No, Corey, that's again, that's not really my thing, but I will say this: Al Haymon. Me personally, you know, when I hear fighters talk about Al Haymon, it seems like they say nothing but good things. You know, always saying, "Oh, you know, I want to thank Al Haymon for everything he's done." So I mean, I hear Al Haymon a lot. I don't know what the deal is as far as, you know, the criticism and things like that on his part. It seems to me like he's doing a lot of good, to be honest with you. So, like I said, it seems like he's making his fighters, wherever they are, they seem to be really happy with as far as from what I could hear during the interviews and things like that. They're always throwing him in there. As far as promoters go, yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't really. It's all just a business game of just trying to, like you said, collect the money and who's going to put more dollars in their pocket, things like that. Doesn't really seem like they're, you know, really into the fans and what the fans want necessarily, or like you said, caring about the fighters at all either. So, like I said, yeah, it's just a business deal. It's just to make money. Like I said, Al Haymon, I've heard nothing but good things as far as from fighters' mouths go. But yeah, I have no explanation for you on that one, Gordon.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're a trainer and you don't want to really get into the politics of it, and I understand that. That's a smart move. But my thing is, Leo Santa Cruz named his son after Al Haymon. These fighters, how come nobody says we're tired of seeing the same fight? Bob Arum fights the same fighters 7,000-8,000 times all the time. I mean, I haven't seen a top-ranked fight on a regular TV in years. I haven't seen a top-ranked fight on regular cable in years. You have to watch HBO to see a top-ranked fighter. But for some reason, we always complaining about Al Haymon because he takes care of boxers who have a limited career. Like this fight he's got coming up with Josesito Lopez and Andre Berto. He kept Josesito paid for a while he was just, you know, chilling. So I don't understand why he constantly is you know, being ridiculed. I mean, is it I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, is it because Bob Arum talks to the media and Al Haymon doesn't talk to the media? He stays behind closed doors. He keeps his mouth shut. He's quiet. I just don't understand why there's such a problem with Al Haymon. But Al Haymon is getting stuff done behind closed doors, and he's not giving you a bunch of talk and a bunch of interviews. And then most importantly to me, he's taking care of boxers financially. So if 10 years down the road they want to say they salty about something, you see their purses and they getting a lot of money, whether they fighting a big name or a small name. He's actually taking care of boxers. So I know trainers are getting taken care of. I know managers are getting taken care of. But for some reason, it's such a big problem with Al Haymon. I really don't understand it, and it's starting to get on my nerves. So what did you think about this news, Nick, where not Leo Santa Cruz, but him getting these shows on Spike TV now? Not only will we have NBC, but supposedly for the rest of this year, he's going to have one fight on Spike TV at least once a month. I mean, that's big news to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like you said, you know, we don't have to worry. I mean, not that we don't need to. We're still going to have to get the HBO and Showtime, things like that, like we had talked about before. But you know, I think it's good because, you know, I believe UFC was doing, you know, don't they have something like that apparently as well, right? They got stuff on Spike TV or Fox Sports, so you know, you can check out fights other than on pay-per-view or other than having, you know, the Showtime and HBO. So I think that's pretty good. They're trying to transition back to regular television. And kind of like the old days, it kind of reminds me of, you know, when families used to huddle around and just watch the old fights on regular old television. So I think it's good, you know, from what I understand, and I don't see anything wrong with it. And I'd be happy to see it get back on regular, you know, television. so other people can watch it, you know, and I can enjoy fights as well without having to worry about HBO and things like that. And you know, just see the new upcoming fighters, see some of the old champions in there or whoever they're going to put in there. I'll be tuning in, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a big plus for the simple fact that you have a lot of people who still love boxing, but they just simply can't afford HBO or Showtime, or they just don't budget it into their card. So what they do is usually they wait till the next morning and watch YouTube. So now they don't have to sit and wait for the next day to watch YouTube, even though they hear what the score is, they still watch YouTube. Now they can simply just go ahead and be like, okay, well, now I'm gonna just watch it live. Now I don't have to wait to watch YouTube, and it's only going to get them. It's only going to get more people to like boxing, because there's a lot of people that like boxing, but they're kind of so-so fans. Because me, I was a so-so fan. I always loved boxing, but I was a so-so fan, for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? I always loved football and boxing, and I took turns flipping back and forth between which ones I loved the most. So doing stuff like that will bring it back to the forefront where people like, I love football, but man, do I love boxing. So I really think that's important that that Haymon is doing that. And Berto, and it's almost like he was listening to our show when I was going off on January 1st. I'm like, can we please get some more fight cards? And then he goes in and he says that. Now, another thing I wanted to point out was what you said about UFC. UFC is smart because on Fox, they go ahead and they do those type of things. And I think that's what gets them exposure. They give you so many free. So when they actually do go to pay-per-view, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy this pay-per-view. So that's very – and that's what I'm saying. And there's only 1 or 2 fights on pay-per-view every year. So what'll happen is they'll say, okay, well, now all I got to do is buy Showtime and HBO, and that's a monthly thing. And now you got people watching the big fighters, because what they will do is they'll still charge you. This is exposure to help guys fill a fan base is how I look at it, Nick. They try to have people fill a fan bases up, so then when they do go back to Showtime and HBO, now you get some of those views. Since you pay $12 a month for HBO and Showtime, you get a percentage per view. People, you know what I mean? Depending on how many people view you.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're building those guys' fan base up, and that's a smart idea, because that's what UFC does. They're gonna see how many of y'all love them enough to come out here to Vegas or buy this pay-per-view. And I thought UFC pay-per-view was cheaper, which it was for a while. Now I'm looking, and it looks like UFC's pay-per-view is like $60, $70 now too.
Yeah.
So it's getting it's getting iffy up there. Right now I'm gonna welcome Bill to the show. Bill, if you've heard any of the topics we've talked about, you can go ahead and comment now.
Everything, like I said, always the business first in boxing. So at the end of the day, I'm not worrying about what you're thinking about or what I'm thinking about. He's all about dollars. That's all he sees. He's not a fan-friendly guy. He's all about lining his pockets. That's all he's concerned with. So
that's fine. He could be about lining his pockets, but don't be sitting there lying on Al Haymon like he's doing something so slime ballish. Like, dude, you ain't doing nothing either.
Yeah. I understand exactly what you right there, but I don't think he's going to change his way of doing things because he's been getting away with that system for so long. You know what I mean? You got to remember, he's the last of the 2 dinosaurs out there in the promotional game. You know, it's him and Don King left as far as the guys who have been doing it over 40 years. Right. So, you just got to wait him out. You know what I mean? His time is coming short anyway. So, you don't have to worry about it too much longer.
And I was reading some things about the details of the fight. I'll email this to you, Nick, and I'll let you see. And it's some details in that 2009 negotiations where they tried to make it seem like Mayweather was the one who totally backed out, when really Mayweather didn't back out a lot. A lot of the stuff was Bob Arum and how he was jumping around the bush in the drug testing. And it's the same thing as now. Like, huh?
Yeah. I didn't know
It's a lot of stuff. So that's what I try and get across to people when we do this platform is like, don't read everything that the media first says. ESPN and HBO are butt buddies. All right. So anything that has to do with Top Rank, Bob Arum, it's going to be pro those guys. They're not going to favor Floyd Mayweather. And the same thing with Showtime. So they both have their pros, their favorites, and their cons. But people think that Bob, like this kills me. Like it's like every week I say Al Haymon's this or Al Haymon's that. Well, what the hell is Bob Arum then? What is he? What is he? Because I don't see him doing nothing but collecting checks. And we all knew that before these negotiations went down, nobody wanted to deal with Bob Arum. Everybody knows Floyd Mayweather does not want to do business with Bob Arum. So why would he take somebody over to CBS's office and sign a contract? You're not supposed to be in the negotiations. The fight's not going to happen if you're in the negotiations. Get out of the negotiations.
Not like there's not other promoters out there that couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I mean, they even said before that, Pacquiao tried to go and do it through his representatives, and there was 1,000 different things that could have went on, but he keeps on trying to be in it. And it's like, Bob, sit out of this one. Nobody wants to deal with you, and it's evident because every time I turn around, somebody is suing him to get out of a contract with him. But yet nobody talks about that.
There's a lot of people trying to get away from it, get away from him anyway.
Exactly.
And it's not. So evidently something's not right with him. Everybody has a gripe with him.
Everybody has a gripe with him, but the media don't say nothing about it, like they complain about Al Haymon, because Al Haymon sits in the background. He keeps his mouth shut. He pays his fighters, and he gets his business done. Bob Arum's in the forefront. He rubs elbows with the media, so the media likes him. So anything he say, they take and run with it.
Well, like I said, you gotta remember, he's been around forever. You know what I mean? So that has a lot to do with that familiarity. He started to build some relationships with different networks and so forth. So it's a lot of factors there.
Well, I feel like this. I feel like it's out with the old, in with the new, and I feel like Bob's got a problem, and he's like, yo, who is this dude Al Haymon who's come in out of nowhere and's got all this power that I don't have? That's how I look at it. And everybody and all the younger crowd and people are starting to follow him because they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that garbage no more. So that's how I look at it.
He said he's probably just sticking his nose in it to be a distraction, just out of sheer jealousy. Sounds like to me.
Yeah,
that's for greed, baby.
It's greed. It's greed. He already done made $100 million some just off the deal that he signed with the Venetian. So I don't understand. I mean, you'd be like, dude, just go sit down somewhere, man. No, we don't need you to be a part of this fight. You don't need to be a part of this fight. You shouldn't even be talking to any reporters about this fight if it's already been made clear that Mayweather is not going to make the fight if you're involved. So you don't even make sense. And even and even this time, Floyd said out of his mouth like, yo, it's not Manny Pacquiao's fault. And I've made that clear. It's not his fault. But wait till I send you this, this blog, Nick. We'll move on. But wait till I send you this blog and you see the stuff that Bob Arum did behind the scenes in 2009, and you're really gonna sit down and be like, wow, this dude. And people that's that stupid. A lot of people tune into Floyd anyway to see him lose. So I think that's one of the main reasons why people get so upset with him, or they want to call him, because people already have a reason not to like him anyway.
Right.
So next, they're saying that Pacquiao might fight Jesse Vargas. What do you think of that fight, Nick?
Jesse Vargas?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Come on.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy, man. No. No. I can't believe that. Now that to me that's a little silly. I haven't even seen Jesse Vargas in a little while, but he's a good fighter. I don't think he's up there to face something that anybody wants to see him face against Pacquiao. I mean, he ain't. I don't see him as being the next great thing or something, or even pose a threat to Pacquiao. But I'm surprised you said that. Yeah.
It'll be Al Jerry Part 2. That's all. Same type of fight.
Yeah,
that's what it will be.
Now, hold up, Corey. You know, let me throw something in there. I didn't hear about the Jesse Vargas, but I did just last night. I read an article about him. They were talking about Amir Khan fighting Pacquiao, so I was a little surprised.
Yes, it's gonna come down to those two, is what I'm hearing. It's gonna come down to Vargas and Amir Khan, because that's who's what. And I heard Manny saying if the fight happens, the fight happens. But it's just like, you know what, man? I really can't fault Floyd for sticking to his guns. Now, if Bob Arum's out and Floyd is still half stepping, then I'm gonna be like, all right, you tripping, Floyd. You trying to avoid something. But if Bob Arum, you know what I mean? But if Bob Arum is totally out and Floyd if Floyd doesn't sign with Pacquiao, then I'll start doing. But as long as Bob Arum's in it, I'm going to side with Mayweather every time, because Bob is known for doing shicey stuff. But yeah, it's because I guess Jesse Vargas is ranked at 140. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. Let me.
Man, I think somewhere around there, if anything.
So I guess
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna look now at the rankings. Junior welterweight: Garcia, Matisse, Algieri, Ruslan, Adrian Broner. Yeah, Jesse Vargas, 26-0. So he's ranked 7th. So yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what I saw. I saw that if this doesn't go through, he'll fight him, and then Bob will make another $100 million off the Venetian that weekend, just because it'll be 300 million people in China watching it, because there's over 1 billion people in population there. So, well, I do want to say this, fellas, that it's looking like it's going to be confirmed that Canelo will finally face my main man, James Kirkland, who's only about 180 miles from my man Nick Pena's crib. So I definitely may be down there in that area to go to that fight. And I hope Nick shows his face at that fight if I go to it.
Oh, I'm already planning on it, man. I saw that article last night, too. They were talking about that. So I'm like, I'm ready to go.
And then, you know, Kirkland stays in Austin. Canelo's got that stupid fan base right there in San Antonio. So I'm guessing, what would you guess, Nick? I'm going to guess they're going to have it right there. Since his last fight was supposed to be.
I think I heard that, already. Alamo Dome, right?
Oh, yeah, we will be there. You know you got somewhere to stay, so we will be there, or be square.
There we go. All right.
What do you have to say about that, Bill? Kirkland versus Canelo. What do you say about that fight? I think he's going to give Canelo a test.
That's a crazy matchup. And why I say that, because there's so many factors there. One, for me, I'm going to bring up the real deal, how I really feel about this now. I don't want to offend anybody, but Kirkland for Canelo is easy chicken. And why I say that, because Kirkland has extremely long layoffs. He has his inactivity is his Achilles heel.
I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that.
And another factor is he's not the most defensively sound guy on the planet either. And he also has a very, 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 very questionable chin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he throw them punches though, Bill.
Say it again.
I said he can deliver some punches though too. Let's not forget that. He can.
The problem is when he gets hit. You know what I mean? Everybody can hit, but what do you do when you get hit?
Let me jump in there right quick, Corey, if you don't mind. Here's what I think, because I have something to say about Kirkland fella. Now, I remember Kirkland when he kind of when his career, when he was first on the scene, and everybody was talking about he was a beast. And he was coming in there, and he was always well conditioned, and he was just throwing down, man. I mean, he ran through everybody. He basically toughed out, lasted out everybody else as far as when he was fighting with them, and it was always tough little matchups. But what I have noticed though, and I gotta say this, I love Ann Wolfe. Don't get me wrong. I actually met her at an amateur showing over here in my hometown here in Angleton, and she's cool, man. I like her. I like that her conditioning stuff. She gets the fighters in real good condition, that's for sure. But the only thing I have a question about, I'm not sure if it's her training or if it's just the fighter Kirkland himself that's not listening. But I've always felt that Kirkland didn't have much of a defense. It seemed to me that he'd go in there and he was physically tough and strong, but I noticed he got hit a lot. Like all these fights that I've seen him in, they've always been rough. And I think Canelo with Canelo's not slow, and Canelo's he can bang with both hands, and he's got some decent boxing skills. So and he's strong too. You know what I mean? Canelo's a big guy, pretty big guy, for his weight. So I just feel the same way, Bill, like you said, inactivity from Kirkland. There's no real good defense. He's already kind of, to me, in my opinion, and James Kirkland, if you listen, baby, I love you, but he doesn't even sound the same in his interviews, to be honest with you. I'm just being completely honest with you. So I think this fight should have been made a while back, maybe would have been better, but now I'm a little worried for Kirkland, but you never know. I'm just saying, I just don't think it's going to be too much of a good matchup as far as me either, Nick. Me, so that's my. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it though. That's for sure. I'll watch it for sure. Yeah.
Well, Nick, I've learned not to go against you because every time we've picked on a fight, you've always been right. So the hell with me going against that. I'm gonna just wait and see what happens. And hopefully, if we both end up making it, we just have a good time together tonight and pass out some of these cards and these T-shirts, and that's all I can hope for.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we'll be there. We'll find a way. We'll get there.
Exactly. So, yeah, that'll be a blessing. And hopefully, March 7th. Now, if that's going to be in March, when Canelo usually fights in March. Will it be in March or will that be in sooner than that? Do you know when the date is supposed to be?
Hey, he said he was shooting for, he said he was shooting for Cinco de Mayo weekend, man.
Oh, so that's a while. We got a while for that then.
Yeah, so we might be all right. I mean, we should be all right as far, But that's what I read in the article. From what I understand, they said the fight's ready to go, but they haven't picked a venue necessarily or a date. I'm sorry, they hadn't agreed on a date yet, I believe. But I heard that Canelo was shooting for Cinco de Mayo weekend. And hopefully the other fight didn't interrupt that, which was going to be, I think, Mayweather. Cotto, I think, if it's possible. So, I don't know. But that's something about to do with the dates on that. I know they're shooting for Cinco de Mayo. So,
hopefully it'll all be on the same card then. Because I hope they don't step on each other's feet again with this stuff.
Well, if they go Cinco de Mayo, it's definitely going to, Mayweather's definitely going to do that day. And if Oscar is that goofy to try and compete with that, that's stupid because all Floyd has to do is put himself in there with Miguel Cotto, and he's going to blow Canelo out of the water as far as pay-per-view numbers. In addition to that, nobody's going to pay pay-per-view to watch Canelo fight Kirkland. That would just be very idiotic and stupid.
Yeah. Did you know if they mentioned they were going to make that a pay-per-view fight?
Well, they made the Angulo pay-per-view fight, so I don't know what to expect for them guys no more.
You know what? You sure are right, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah,
you sure right on the undercard problems. You know what I mean?
Well, they won't be on undercard because they on two different networks now. It'll be Showtime 1, HBO 1. Oscar has ran over to HBO, so that won't happen.
Wow.
So I would hope that he fights in March. I would hope like he did last year. I hope he will fight the week after the Adrian Broner fight because the Adrian Broner fight, and I'm gonna try and get to that one in Vegas, Nick. Hopefully you can get out there for that on March 7th. But that's when Bill's boy Thurman fights Guerrero, and that's March 7th. Now in between March 7th and March 20th, there's no fights. Now March 20th, fellas, is supposedly the fight that's going to be on Spike TV between Berto and whatever his name is. I just said Berto and the Rocky, LA Rocky, Josesito Lopez. So if they got any sense whatsoever, fellas, they will make that Canelo fight in between the 13th and the 14th. If the big word, y'all hear me? If.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I really would have liked Canelo to fight Josh Clottey, back in December. You know that was supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be. That actually was supposed to happen at the Alamo Dome. I was definitely ready to see that one. But now, here's the headache that I've been holding in for the whole show. I'll start with Bill and I'll finish with you, Nick. I'm not making any predictions on this fight. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to watch it. And when it's over, I'm going to sleep. I'm not post-fighting anything about it. Who you got winning, Bill? You got the crazy guy from Colorado, or you got Brandon Rios' big mouth?
Right, but you said the crazy guy from Colorado. Wow. You ever heard that old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Course. Nah, that man.
All I gotta say is, man, look, he knows he's crazy. He said he admitted he was crazy before, so hopefully he's not offended by that.
My opinion about that, this definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, is a crossroads fight. And it's like whoever loses this fight pretty much goes to the back of the line and pretty much almost out the door. Because, like I said, what's his name? Alvarado, we've seen him get his butt handed to him quite a few times within the past year and a half. And I think he's damn as good. But he's fought Rios before a couple of times, so he knows what to expect. And Rios' Achilles heel is movement. If you move a little bit, you can beat him. So I expect Alvarado to get
90 seconds.
Now, what Rios has to do, what he has to scored a knockout. So that's why I see that.
Okay. I agree with Bill on that one. It is a crossroads fight. But here's the way I see it. To me, Alvarado seems to have the ability to move and box, as he's shown before. And so, right off the bat, I would say that he should have what it takes to beat Brandon Rios if Rios hasn't changed anything. However, the problem with Alvarado is he gets taken out of his game plan sometimes. Yeah. And I've noticed that he'll fade a little bit, and what he'll do is he'll resort back to trying to hang it out. He won't be moving that much, which is where he normally gets caught up. So it's kind of a toss-up for me because I feel like Alvarado has what it takes to win, but only if he stays, with that. You know what I mean? If he gets caught up, because I know Brandon Rios, unless he's changed the way unless he's changed game plans for this fight, the way I see it, Brandon Rios doesn't fade, in my opinion. He's going to be the same old dude throughout the entire fight. So I don't believe his mentality doesn't fade. To me, he doesn't back down. He doesn't change up his ways during the fight. So to me, Alvarado, I think it's all on him. If he lets himself fade away, or if he lets himself get caught up, then I think Brandon Rios could take this fight, no problem. But again, that's if Alvarado stays smart, and he's, I didn't see his last fight, unfortunately. I wish I had watched that, but I think Alvarado should win this fight. He has the ability to win it, but he's got to make sure he stays smart.
That's how I see it, Nick.
Yeah. So I can't say who's going to win this fight. Like I said, it's whoever, it's up to Alvarado, I think, in a way. It's all up to him. So we'll see.
Realistically, what's the stake anyway for these two guys? Because I can't see either one of them getting a title shot after this.
Right. Well, it's a payday at least, I guess. Anything. For now. So see what happens. See if anybody puts a good performance on. So
I guess braggers, right? Hey, I beat you twice. You only beat me once, kind of stuff. I don't know.
Right. We'll take it.
Yeah, we do.
Well, as I said, I'm keeping my mouth shut on this one. No comment.
Gotcha.
I do look forward to see any new up and coming fighters on the undercard, and I'll leave it at that. Other than that, get me ready for Friday night fights next week, the week after that, and then get me ready for the third week in February, where I can see Triple G back in the ring, and then Showtime has a card on February 20th, and then really get me ready for March, because I'm tired of waiting around for these NBC cards. I'm ready for them now. I understand that we feel like Mr. Haymon was obviously listening to us vent on the New Year's edition of Mass Chuck Sports Radio, but I need that done now. I can't wait till March. I need it in February. I got a whole month of February where we only got pretty much Friday night fights. Oh, by the way, fellas, this Monday night fights on Fox Sports 1. Nick, I don't know if you got anything going on or any plans, but the same channel that fights were on last week, it'll be on Monday night. And real quick before we get off the air, Bill, why don't you go ahead and elaborate on that fight that was on Fox Sports 1 this past week?
Man, I was so impressed with the first fight. That kid, what was his name, Corey? I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
I think he was from around your way. He was from your way, Bill. He was from Maryland.
He's 19 years old. That kid, I see him doing something in the game. He showed me a lot of poise in the ring. He had a nice style. I'm looking for some big things from him. He was very, very solid for a kid. For a 19-year-old, he looked like he had been doing it for a long time. I was very impressed with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't check that one out.
That should be pretty good because the guy Castellano, his last fight, he upset this up-and-comer, this guy named Ronnie Rios. They were trying to pump him up, and Castellano beat the stuffing out of him. And Rocky Juarez, he's seen better days. So this should be a good fight.
Well, I'm gonna say this real quick. The second fight was pretty good too with Perez, the guy from Jersey. But yeah, that kid from Maryland, he went. Yeah, and the kid you were talking about, he actually went to University of Maryland. Actually left his freshman year and said he was going 100% concentrate on boxing and then come back. And Oscar De La Hoya recently just signed him. So hopefully that gets us a fight card in Baltimore, and me and Nick can come out to Baltimore and check out a fight card.
All right. That would be great.
Yep. All right, fellas. Any closing? As I said, I'm fed up with Rios Alvarado. I'm going to sit and watch it on the strength of Nick and Bill, just because I don't want them to clown me and not call me a real boxing fan. So I'm going to sit and watch it on the strength of my two co-hosts. Other than that, I have no comment. Until next week, anything to say, fellas? I mean,
yeah, Corey. Let me just say, if y'all mind, I want anybody listening out there, please. I want you to go and check out my website at threekingsproboxing.com. I got that set up for guys. If you're looking for a professional trainer to help you out, get you set up for your next fight, or if you're just looking to get more fit. I'm located in the Angleton area. I know it's probably far away from most of our listeners, but that's where I'm at. Go check it out. Let us know what you think.
All right. Yes, thank you very much for that, Nick. And anybody who is in Texas or in the Texas area, I mean, if you're trying to train, this is really the guy you want to see. And you know, catch us.
Sure.
You can catch us on Google. We have a page called anybody who has a Gmail account. You can follow us on Google. We have a page called Texas Boxing Fans, and we're also on Texas Boxing Enthusiasts. And all you people are invited every week to listen to our podcast. And hopefully, we will be showing up in Vegas on the radio here in the next month. Thank you, anybody who tuned in. Peace out. I'll catch you fellas next week, and I'll try not to have a Mr. Potato Head face while the fight's on tonight.
All right. All right.
All right, fella.
All right. Y'all have a good one, man.
Peace.
You too, Nick. You too, boy.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.